Thermal cameras probably are very high on the wish list of every electrical engineer. And Kaiweets recently introduced a standalone camera, like this one here. So it's a pew 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 pistol thingy. And they kindly sent me a review sample. And in the following steps, I'm going to show you what this thing can actually do for you. So, and here we've got the Kaiweets thermal camera box, and as we can see, it's magnetically sealed. So let's open it, and here we see, tada, the document sleeve, the actual camera in a carrying case, and then here the usual supporting cables and stuff. And yes, this box is surprisingly solidly made. So if you ever want to transport it in a very safe way, this is one of the shipping boxes which I really would not bin. Next step, this sleeve here. Let's open it. Very well done. We see here we get the instruction manual, which is in multiple languages, and it's, well, here's the manual. So if you do need to know how to get started, the thing does show you. And here's the important instructions for installing the battery. This is the usual cable box. Oh, nice. We actually do get a charger here, which is claimed to be 5 volt 2 amp output. So not even that. It's a pretty nice charger. And here we've got the USB-C cable. And with that, it's already time to open that girl here. Pretty solidly done zip. Here we have on the top an accessory pouch, and here we've got the actual thermal camera. This here is the battery tray. It's normally closed like this, and you open it with a bit of carajo to the back. It's a bit janky, and then you open it, and then in here we see the actual battery, which in our case here is soldered in via a connector. But I think this is a very good idea, because this way you can always replace the battery if it ever does go wonky. And yes, here you see the way it all fits together again. So this is a very, very well done design. Before we get into the measurements, which I did outdoors, I have to do the usual YouTubers pleading. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. Thank you. And now we are going to start. We charged it well, and we see here there is a carrying strap, which is very useful, especially if you have not so qualified technical staff. Tell them to always put it around the neck so they don't drop the camera. And yes, we open the lens and we are ready to go. We push the power button here, and now it starts up, and we see the camera is starting up for us, slowly but surely. And yes, I'm intentionally outside of the house today because we are going to be testing it with some real life objects. And we see that the camera starts up, and here we see a bunch of warnings which say over. And the reason for this is something which is quite unique. You see here that this camera has got 2 thermal settings. And we go in here, and we have to select the right temperature range. And by default, it chips in the low mode, in the high mode. So we go to the low mode. Now we go out again. We see we are in low mode. And now we are already seeing here this fridge in the background. And we see the temperature information. And now we are going to open the door. And we see it slowly but surely, we are getting the temperature information here. And now something else, because these objects, especially here, the fruit drinks, are reflective, there is a small special mode. We can go in here and we can select the emissivity of the target, as you see here. And yes, incidentally, getting these settings right is quite hairy, as you saw below, because only now, when I selected the emissivity of matte, like you see it here, the images suddenly become more accurate and more reasonable. So this again proves the old West German adage that you always need to think while you're measuring. As the next test, we have an ice cube and some coffee. And now we want to make a video. So for this, we push and hold the trigger button, and then the camera asks us if we want to start recording. And now we say yes, and only then the recording starts. And we see this here at the bottom because the timer is incrementing. And now we can throw the ice cube into the coffee, and we can watch what happens slowly but surely. And yes, we can see how the ice cube is dissolving in the coffee, and we get a pretty good view of the whole situation. And what is really neat is that we see the cold area here on the second storage plate. And yes, when we want to end filming, we just push the stop button again. And now it says end recording. And yes, all my poor panel workers' work is not for nothing, because now we go here to videos, check, and now we get here some basic video viewer capability. And you see we can look at the video on the camera. And yes, of course, I'm going to be putting the full video in later. And while a thermal camera definitely is useful for looking at things, sometimes you just want to document. And in this case, this thing has a photo feature, which you activate by pushing the button once. And then it asks you if you want to store the photo or not. And you see here that when you push the button, it immediately stores. So there is a very low shutter latency. And then you just go in here. You've stored the photo, and then of course you can also look at the photo here with the check function. And incidentally, inside of here you've got a 32 gigabyte eMMC memory. So in practical usage of this as a thermal camera, it should be impossible to run out of memory. The camera, as you see here, can also be connected to the workstation using an USB-C cable. And what you then get is a drive which, like so, has the images, the videos, and an executable file, which in theory should allow you to basically look at the camera data stream on the PC. However, you see here, I've ran a scan recently, And yes, you have to be careful because you see here that the executable file sometimes, as you see here, gets flagged by the Windows Defender as being harmful. But I mean, I don't know, I'm not gonna execute it because for me a thermal camera is a standalone product anyways, but well, nevertheless, I do want to mention it just in case. Incidentally, I have been given a review code. I don't get anything from it, but if you use the code which you see on the screen now, on their official website, you should get a 15% rebate on the thing at perpetuum. I don't know why they gave it to me, because honestly I don't get the cut of the profits, but I think it's a pretty nice gesture, and so if you want to buy it, you can buy it directly from them using this discount code. And with that, I've done a little show of the thermal camera. From my point of view, there is actually nothing to complain about. If you like a standalone thermal camera with a nice big screen, this is an affordable option which works pretty damn well with them if you get the reflectivity settings right, but you figured it out pretty quickly. So in the shorts, this is a very affordable, nice product, and if you like it, go and buy it. Pani, halt die Tür auf. Halt die Tür auf, Pani. Brave Pani. And halt die Tür auf. And now we see that my worker has opened the door, and we see that the temperature information is slowly but surely starting to go down.